Joining us now is Hannibal Mike Ware. He is the fired Inspector General of the Small Business Administration, and this is his first interview since he was fired. Mike, we appreciate you joining us. I know you were appointed during Trump's first term, unanimously confirmed by the Senate. So how did you learn of your firing, and what did the White House say to you?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I learned about this on Friday evening about 7:40. My wife and I were out with a group of friends having dinner. My phone started blowing up from a bunch of other IGs because I am the chairman of the Council of Inspectors General for Integrity and Efficiency. So I went outside to take the call, and one of them notified me that they had received an email notifying them that they were fired immediately. And so I said, oh, that's a shame. I said, well, let me check my email, and noticed that I was on there as well. And then, of course, the calls started to pour in. That's how we found out.
What reason was given for your firing?
Well, the reason is actually the most alarming part. The reason was due to changing priorities of the administration. And the reason that is alarming is because IGs are not a part of any administration. IGs oversee how the priorities of the administration is being conducted to make sure that there's transparency in government and to make sure that there's no fraud, waste, and abuse in how taxpayer funds are being expended.
The legal justification here is somewhat murky because we know the Inspector General Act of 2022, which was pushed by Republicans in Congress. It requires a 30-day notification window from the White House informing Congress of an intent to fire an inspector general to that IG being removed from on-duty status. So I wonder, given that, are you planning to go to work today?
Well, I did not go into the office today. I know that I heard from the folks that I had been denied access, so I did not enter. So that'll be a no for today.
I want to play some sound from Senator Lindsey Graham, who, as we've shown, was on our air over the weekend. And this is what he said about whether he thinks the Trump administration broke the law here.
Well, technically, yeah, but he has the authority to do it. So I'm not, losing a whole lot of sleep that he wants to change the personnel out. I just want to make sure that he gets off to a good start. I think he has. I'm very supportive of what he wants to do in America.
How do you respond to that?
Well, technically, yeah, is a funny thing, because technically, yeah, is not the world that inspectors general operate in. We provide oversight based on what the law says. And I'd like to say this. This is not about any of our individual jobs. We acknowledge that the president has the right to remove any of us that he chooses. But the protections that were baked in to the act is everything. Absent having to provide a real reason, we're looking at what amounts to a threat to democracy, a threat to independent oversight, and a threat to transparency in government. This is the statute isn't just a technicality. It's a key protection of IG independence, is what it is. And just like you referenced, just over 2 years ago, these things were put in to strengthen our independence, not to weaken it and treat it as if it's a technicality. And then think about this. I would say this to what I just heard. Adherence to the IG Act cannot be done in a piecemeal manner. You can't decide, I'm not going to follow that part of the IG Act, but, I'm going to follow the part that allows IGs to have full and unfettered access to all agencies' records and personnel. You're going to follow the part that says that we get to determine which investigations we conduct and not. If you split it up like that, it's all gone. We might as well not have an Inspector General Act at all. We might as well not have an independent oversight mechanism for our government.
If the goal was to remove people who weren't aligned with the Trump vision, and we were told by a White House official, we're cleaning house of what doesn't work for us and going forward, then, what types of things could go unchecked? And what, more broadly, is the impact?
Well, the impact is this. I'll tell you, our community has been doing effective work since inception of the IG Act in 1978. In the last 10 years alone, we have over $143 billion in investigative recoveries alone. We have a $26 return on investment on every dollar spent on IG offices. In my office at SBA alone, over the past 5 years, we have a return on investment of over $50 for every dollar spent on us. So what is being stripped away is an independent way to provide the type of protections and the type of transparency that every American citizen decides or deserves, rather. And that's what's at stake. And you know, what's interesting is that for years, we have been viewed as nonpartisan, non-political. What's happening right now is historic in that this has never happened before. When the IG Act was first passed in President Reagan's first term at the beginning, he attempted to do this and then pulled back the attempt after realizing that this type of checks and balance is exactly what is baked into our very Constitution. But it was only a couple of weeks ago that Senator Joni Ernst touted the work of IGs and our independence and created the IG caucus within the Senate. And we would hope that the IG caucus stands up for what is right and stands up for independent oversight and stands up for transparency in government.
Do you worry about
That's really what's at stake.
Do you worry about who's going to replace you?
Oh, well, at this point, we have to ask ourselves, if it's about changing priorities in the administration and non-adherence to the rationale that we're not a part of the administration and you're going to put people in who are more like loyalists, then the whole system is in shambles. Because who would be brave enough to speak truth to power, which is a basic tenet of what it means to be an IG? Nobody. If the real threat is as soon as something is found to be out of alignment with the law, you are removed. So yes, my concern is not even for my office. My concern is for the sanctity of what an office of Inspector General is and the role of an Inspector General within our democracy.
Now, former Inspector General Mike Ware, thank you very much for speaking out and being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.